On this edition of Art of Life, Charm Offensive, we meet Matteo di Montezemolo, businessman and Italian royalty.
Tra quanto la porti lì?
È lì che mi sta aspettando.
Va bene.
We catch up with the young managing director at Milan's internationally renowned furniture fair before traveling to the Scottish Highlands, where we take a look at the tradition that underpins one of his newer purchases.
Incredible quality and glamour. The first time I went to visit the factory in Leithen in Scotland, I saw incredible pictures of Jacqueline Kennedy going inside the factory.
Hello and welcome to Art of Life. I'm Monita Rajpal in the Cumberland Hotel in central London. Steeped in tradition, it has undergone a $200 million makeover. This luxurious lobby is the perfect location to introduce our first story. In just a moment, we'll meet the man behind Charm Investments. But first, here's a look at what else is coming up later in the show. Is there no limit to which luxury watch brands will go to promote their new lines? Plus,
hi, Nicole.
Hello,
Lovely to meet you.
Can Money Buy You Love? A dating agency aimed at the seriously wealthy. Now he's from one of Italy's most influential families, runs a multi-million-dollar business, and he hasn't even turned 30 yet. Welcome to the jet-set life of Matteo di Montezemolo.
Frau nasce a Torino nel 1912 da Renzo Frau.
His personal passion is football, and in Italy, Matteo di Montezemolo attracts as much attention as Maldini and Inzaghi, a young businessman from an influential family, a connection politicians and the like are keen to exploit. This is the scene just prior to Italy's recent election, at a furniture fair, no less.
Questo è 1921, l'abbiamo portato.
Whether he's touring Milan's Salone di Mobile, famous Italian brands Cappellini and Cassini and Poltrona Frau are part of the charm group he runs. Or sharing the limelight with his father, Luca di Montezemolo, of Ferrari and Fiat fame, Matteo is an important figure in luxury goods. While many other parties held during Milan's furniture fair could only boast a modest sprinkling of design journalists and guests, at the soirée to show off the latest collection from Poltrona Frau, it was standing room only. The Di Montezemolos were in the house.
Okay.
Matteo has gained an understanding of the luxury sector by living it.
It's in the DNA of my family, is what I heard since I was young. When I was very young, I was brought by my father in many important meetings. He told me, stay in the corner, you don't have to speak, but you have to listen. So, you know, it's something now very, very natural.
It was just a few years ago that the charm group headed by Matteo began to make acquisitions. The family was already known for Ferrari. Fashion and furniture came next. The plan, according to Matteo, was to acquire established brands and with them a sense of heritage and quality. Poltrona Frau, almost 100 years of history and where every piece of furniture is crafted by hand.
Then we wanted to acquire something that was the opposite of Poltrona Frau, and so we thought that the best brand in this sector was Cappellini, very famous for contemporary design, avant-garde. Cappellini is the company that launched on the market the most famous young designers from Jasper Morrison, Tom Dixon, and so on. Then we wanted to have something in the middle, between something of classical and something of very contemporary and avant-garde, and in the middle there is Cassina. Cassina is really the history of the bourgeois design.
Ballantyne, the Scottish cashmere company bought by Charm in 2002. The mill has been here in Inner Leithen since 1921, its history luring Matteo outside of Italy.
Many companies and brands sell products as luxury goods, but they don't even have a factory because they produce in China or through third parties that produces for them. And we found out that Ballantyne was one of the few real, deep, historical, with a huge potentiality of growth brands in the luxury industry of fashion. And so when we started with Ballantyne 2 years ago, the company was very small, 70 million euro of revenues, so very, very small, but with a huge, huge, huge heritage, history to tell, and most of all, incredible quality and glamour.
The hand knitters produce between 105 and 110,000 garments every year. Their skills are highly specialized. It takes 3 to 5 years before a knitter is fully trained. It's a little like painting by numbers, but when it comes to following intricate designs, these knitters rarely have to count.
Valentine for us is a dream because it's an unbelievable brand.
From the heart of production in Scotland to one of Ballantyne's 3 London stores, where I caught up with Matteo during one of his whirlwind trips from Milan. If you were to create a sweater for me, what would you do?
Well, I don't know you very well, but now we are going towards summertime, so I would use very light colors, maybe these kind of light blues or greens or whites, but colors that give you good mood, that give you a very positive reaction.
Of course, he's not the design talent. That role is filled by Massimo Alba in Italy.
Queste, allora, le teniamo, mandiamo.
Alba has transformed the image of Ballantyne, making knitwear, dare I say it, cool, even if you're under 40.
Sono venuti, molto contenti.
For now, Matteo says he's content with the brand's under charm, likening his business style to the way he conducts himself on the pitch.
I play in the center, as I like to play in my life. I don't want to play in the back, I don't want to play too much in the forward, I want to play in the center, I want to manage the team, I want to have a link with who plays in attack, I want to have a link with who plays in defense, I want to speak in the right way with the referee, that is always very, very important, so I play in the middle.
Still to come here on Art of Life. Party time. I drop in at 2 sumptuous events as luxury watchmakers unveil their newest creations. Now we turn to the world of branding. Get it right and your product will fly off the shelves. And as I discovered, when the makers of luxury watches unveil their wares, they will do just about anything to get your attention. Glamour, celebrity, luxury, and something a little unusual. When it comes to getting your branding right in the luxury watch market, nothing is left to chance. To coincide with the launch of new designs by Swiss watch giants Montblanc and IWC, I was invited to events that featured catwalk shows, endless champagne, clay pigeon shooting, flights in vintage planes, and the opportunity to rub shoulders with the rich and famous. The Montblanc boss has no difficulty defending such decadence.
When we thought about our 100 years anniversary, we were thinking about something which brings the brand back to its home. And as the brand is named after the Mont Blanc, we thought, it would be a great idea to have a party at the Mont Blanc. Now, it's very difficult to get people with the plane right to the Mont Blanc, and so we brought the Mont Blanc to where we are. So the important thing with these type of parties is, I think, we want to make the people understand what the brand is all about.
And at IWC, a similar level of thought has gone into these seemingly random events.
3 years ago, we launched diving watches. We went to Egypt, we were diving with the Cousteau Society. Last year, we launched an Ingenieur, which is more on Earth, and we had a driving experience in Lapland, in Sweden, on ice. But today, it's about classical piloting, and we thought England, with Spitfire, and all these planes here is a perfect environment to get this feeling through.
Your brand has lasted decades, and it's a well-known brand for the executive. But also in terms of the marketing aspect of it, how important is it to kind of continuously updating your marketing strategy?
Well, updating, yes. Modernizing it, yes, but always on the roots of the brand. Luxury products have history and need to have history if you want to really to build it up to an institutional brand. So all the products we have, have long history, 70, 80 or 100 years, but you have to keep it contemporary, and this is what we're doing.
In relatively recent times, celebrity endorsement has become a vital part of the branding experience, the hope being that the allure the star brings is associated with the product. How important is it then, to be associated with luxury brands like IWC?
How important is it to be associated with them?
For you, as in your own image and whatever it is you do.
Well, I'm an art dealer, and I think art is another luxury product. I mean, it's not as if everybody really needs it. So it's an item of an expensive item of luxury. So I think being associated with a brand like IWC is a good thing.
The funny thing is, I always wonder about when celebrities are invited. Is it something that you actually want to do? Do you actually want to come to these things and be a part of it?
Are you kidding?
Answer questions from us journalists?
Well, answering questions from you is a pleasure. But I want to go flying around in that little sort of plane over there. That's going to be great fun. I mean, it's a boy's sort of dream, isn't it?
I guess it all depends on what it is and how they strategize.
Absolutely. IWC is a brand that's really aimed at men and boys particularly. So they arrange these really, really fun events.
There is undoubtedly a certain irony that attempts to create credibility and plausibility centered around events that are both fantastical and incredible. But companies are acutely aware that if you get your branding right, in terms of profits, the sky's the limit. Now, we all know that money can't buy you love, but for those busy city workers with no time to spare, they put their trust and money in the ultimate dating agency, 70/30. With a starting membership fee of about $24,000, a dating headhunter helps them find their ultimate partner.
Too busy with their careers to find love, Nicole and Jasper have put their fate into her bespoke dating service is not for everyone. You needn't apply if you don't have $2 million in liquid assets.
Definitely our members who are wealthy, dynamic, fantastic, intelligent and very interesting people, and our team of experts. All employees do come from either psychology, psychotherapy or psychoanalysis background. They absolutely understand people's needs and their desires in life.
An annual membership starts at $24,000 and goes up to $110,000. This Black Star level provides a 24-hour matchmaker and gives protection from gold diggers.
So what we did with her, we first worked with her in date coaching.
For all members, if a suitable match is not on Susie's books, her team will go and track him or her down, a so-called dating headhunter.
What's different with us is that we do not rely on our pool of members. We go out and we headhunt constantly, because if I was just to sit and wait and rely on my membership, members would be unsatisfied and they would wait forever, because everybody has different desires and different expectations.
But before clients can meet prospective partners, they have to go through the paces. First up, a visit to the dating coach. Fresh from her meeting with Susie, Seven Sufi meets with Jasper.
Come on then, so tell me, what is it you're looking for in a relationship?
I'm looking for equality. I'm looking for intellectual rapport.
From here, the information goes on to form a client's profile. This is what potential matches will read. For Jasper, he's looking for
someone who is engaging in terms of, intellectually challenging, someone who's fun, feisty, someone who has an interest in a lot of the cultural pursuits that I'm interested in.
And Nicole is looking for
someone who's sincere and who is responsible and funny, but I'm not just going to leave it at that anymore.
Both also have a passion for the arts. Susie sees a potential spark in these two, and Jasper and Nicole agree to a dinner date. In the business of dating, first appearances do count. So to make sure members exude the right image, a style consultation is offered.
Where are you going to be going?
In anticipation for the date, Nicole visits with stylist Patrick Swan.
Now, where do you think it hits you around the knee? Is that going to be above the knee or to the knee?
It is just to the knee.
Okay, that's absolutely appropriate because I do think, especially on first date, you don't want to be showing off any more than you need to.
I agree.
Hi, Nicole.
Hello,
lovely to meet you at last.
You're very handsome.
Thank you very much. You look good too.
Thank you.
Lovely
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Finally.
Really, really enjoyable, great fun. Had lots of good conversations. Enjoyed some fantastic wine and ended up leaving at about 1:45. Kind of late, so I guess we got on, if you think about it that way.
So we've arranged to see each other again. Initially it was to go for a jog, but now we're going to meet up for dinner. So it'll be nice. Looking forward to it.
Could this be true love? If not, both can be assured that Susie and her team will keep searching for their perfect match.
Still to come on Art of Life, it's a ring thing. Who do you turn to when you know what you want, but you haven't got the time to find it? You're watching Art of Life. So all went well on the first date. More follows suit, and eventually the couple head to the altar. But before wedding bells are heard, an engagement ring is needed. And if you're looking for something different, maybe opt for an antique. That's where Susannah Lovis steps in.
Engagement rings, a symbol of love and commitment, a piece of jewelry that one will cherish and adorn for years to come. For Nick Coffey and Susan Allen, an engagement ring should be like no other. Unique and a good investment, the perfect fit is an antique ring. To help them with their choice, Nick and Susan turned to Susannah Lovis. Her West London store specializes in rings from the 1800s to the 1930s.
First and foremost, it's a piece of jewellery, but it's also nice to think that you've got a piece that will never be reproduced, that is a completely unique piece of jewellery that will, will act as an investment. I mean, to start, you don't pay VAT on second-hand rings. They do seem to be better value, and it's really how I buy them, which obviously, the buying is the fundamental part of the business.
But finding these gems are becoming increasingly difficult, a challenge she thrives on.
It's getting harder and harder, but we have to just look harder, and the more you look, the more you find.
Early Saturday morning, London's famous Notting Hill market comes alive. Susannah and her colleague Jess regularly visit the antique shops that line Portobello Road.
Hello again. Hi, I know. It's quite a nice one, clean stones. It's about 1910, 18 carats, set in platinum. Just have a look at my loop.
Using a jeweller's loop, they check to make sure there are no inclusions in the stones.
Thanks, Vicky. Bye. Bye, Clemmy. Bye.
The treasures also come to Susannah. At least once a week, jewellery dealer Bernard comes to her shop, his pockets filled with antique pieces.
Oh, you've got lots of new things, Bernard.
Always.
In the jewellery business for 54 years, but for his own protection, his identity must remain anonymous.
How much is it?
3,800.
The search for antique engagement rings continues at auction houses.
Number 53, which is a sapphire and diamond ring.
During the preview, Susannah scrutinizes the lots. Clarity is checked, and stone sizes measured.
Hi, could I see number 297, please? It's got a lot of charm. It's a nice old piece. You can see the diamond is actually a cushion shape, which is very flattering on the hand, and it's a really super engagement ring. It's actually quite a low estimate, unusually. It says £1,500 to £2,000, and I'd like to pay £1,800 for it, but if it goes to just over two, then I'd be happy with that.
Lot 297, 297, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 pounds now, 14, 1,500 pounds. Thank you, ma'am. You're worth 1,500 pounds. 15, 1,600, 1,700, 1,800, 1,900, 2,000, 2,200 pounds. Your bid, ma'am, 2,200 pounds against you here at 2,200 pounds. So, 2,200, 365. Thank you very much.
From auction house to engaged couple, the ring's journey continues.
And is ready for another 80 years wear. Yes. Lovely.
That would mean we're 120, which would be quite good going.
For Nick and Susan, it's the history and originality that makes the difference.
It's not laser cut, it was done many years ago that makes it special. It gives it extra kind of meaning, I think.
And it's a one-off.
Yeah.
You won't see anyone else wearing it.
And that is it for this edition of Art of Life in London. If you have any questions or comments, do email us at artoflife@cnn.com, and don't forget to check us out on the web. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for watching.